What you looking at? I don't know what you looking at. You wanna fight? Yeah, I wanna fight. Ugh, ugh. What's up, everybody? Nerdity Absurdity Reviews here, coming at you today with another action figure versus. Today we're looking at a couple of things, namely this couple of things. Today we're going to be looking at the Walgreens exclusive thing and the Super Skrull Wave thing. So let's get into it. Talking about accessories, we're going to talk about Skrull Wave first. He comes appropriately with some Skrull heads for the Build-A-Figure, and that's it. That's all you get with him. So, not a big fan of that. I don't do Build-A-Figures. I get some people like that, especially you're, collecting all the Fantastic Four, building your team. It's a nice little perk to have if you're going to get them all anyway. But, yeah, no, I just wanted the Thing. I just wanted a version. I like the Thing. I wanted him to be on my Avengers team, on my shelf. So this doesn't really do anything for me. Kind of a disappointment. Walgreens Thing over here is packing a bit of a heavier punch, as he comes with not only two fisted hands like this gentleman does, but also two lovely grabbing hands. Look at that. I'm flipping them all over the table here, but I mean, they're great. They're like the other one. They got the peg there. They go up and down like that. And that's good. And he also comes with, they both come with a similar kind of, we'll go into this in more detail. They both come with a similar neutral head that you can see there. But he also comes with an additional head, and you know me, I like my additional heads. He's got this grimacing head where he's gritting his teeth, and oh, so much personality. I just love that. So, Mr. Walgreens exclusive Thing is winning the accessory war easily. These aren't even really accessories. They're just Build-A-Figure pieces that come with it. You can't use it with the figure. So, nothing versus something. Something always wins. And these are all nice. These are all good. They give you they give you action for your Thing. The weird thing about him is I thought he was supposed to be like a regular human man who got covered by rock, but in the process, it looks like he lost a finger. That's interesting, and you see that on the fists as well. Just noticing that now. It's not really here nor there, just an interesting thing about the figures. But anyway, let's take a look at the figures themselves. Maybe get your arms down so that we can get you next to your brother here. The Thing brothers. And yeah, that's what they look like. That's what they look like close up. You can see quite a bit of difference. We're going to talk about. I mean, the sculpt is the same. I actually wondered if it was, because they do look quite different. But I think that's mainly because of the paintwork. If I actually was able to find some similar rocks, like you see that rock there is there. It just looks more defined on this sculpt, and we'll go over why that is. But the real difference is, of course, in the heads. This head, I gotta say, I think I prefer the sculpt on this head a bit better, because Thing here is, I just love this pronounced brow ridge, this pronounced lower lip. It looks really kind of over the top. It looks really Thing. I like that. And if you take a look at them just kind of back a little bit, you'll notice something that it's not maybe as prevalent on camera, but in person it definitely is. This boy here, his head looks just a little bit too small to his body. Even actually just compared to the size of his fist. His fist is so much bigger than his head. And that could be an aesthetic choice. That could be a creative choice there, to give him just big old arms and fists that are bigger than his body. I get that. But I like this big kind of gorilla head where you got the brow and you got the lip. We have the same sculpt. It's the same body mold. There's some little differences here. You can see these trunks are just better. You got the Fantastic Four belt, and with the big 4 in the center. I like that. And the colors I like better. I like this darker blue with this lighter blue accent, as opposed to just It's a bit of a different color blue as well, as opposed to this that he's just wearing trunks. But yeah, it's but I do like and you don't always get this, but I was even looking at that new Retro Beast figure that comes out, and I believe his trunks are just flat. They're just kind of painted on there. But these you actually get the wrinkling in there, so that's very nice. So these are our boys, the sculpts from the front. Again, very similar. And then you want to take a look at the back. And yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same build, sculpt, and articulation. The only real difference are the extra accessories, the different sculpting in the heads, this waist piece where you get the big four logo, and of course, I was going to say the coloring, but of course the paint. The paint is very different. Now, in my estimation, there is no. Well, I do want to say what I like about the. I mean, I'm gonna say I like this paint job better because it's just better. But I do like the fact that they've tried to pick out some highlights here with the raised edges. They went over this. You can see with a lighter orange to make it look like this is where uh, the raised kind of parts on things body are kind of catching the light just to give it a little bit of an accent. I know some people don't like that, and I know there are some things that maybe don't make complete sense, like, the shoulders catching the light. How come the pecs are, but the stomach isn't? It's not like they're completely obscured. How come there's stuff on the feet, but not on the legs? But it does make your figure pop a little on the shelf. But other things about the paintwork I want to compare is well, let's take a look at the eyes. You can see there's kind of like a shine. I've tried this in different lighting setups too, and right now it's really general. I like to shoot these videos kind of with daylight, just streaming through the windows. I think they just look better with daylight. But yeah, you can see there's a bit of a shine in this guy's eyes, where there's a bit of shine in this guy's eyes too, but it's not as prevalent. But when I'm moving him around, you can see that white spot. And again, different kinds of lighting will give me this effect with this figure. So I don't really like the paint in these eyes as much. Maybe it's a facet of these eyes being a little wider apart. Yeah, he's got kind of this faraway look in his eye always, because there's a little bit of gloss in these eyes, and it always picks up the light and gives him just this kind of blank stare. This guy, there's maybe a little bit of gloss in the eyes, but you don't get as much. I think his expression is just better. It's also the white in the teeth and things like that. Contrast just kind of make his head pop. Even though it is smaller, his expression is just easier to read. And of course, you get a similar effect with this head over here. It's just, yeah, it's not as, maybe there's a little bit more gloss in that head. But yeah, it's easier to read these expressions. It is. So, and a big reason for that is, of course, the paint scheme on Walgreens thing. This choice to basically paint in all the crags of all of the rocks, and I think he's also got might have a slightly different, slightly darker orange overall as well. But this choice to, instead of highlighting raised areas, to accentuate recessed areas is a much better choice. He looks more rocky, more craggy, more striking. Again, on the face, because you have this darker contrast, it makes the whites pop more. And he is just a better looking figure. So don't get me wrong, I do like both of these figures. Again, they are ostensibly the same, but I'll go over articulation in a bit just so you can see it. They are ostensibly the same, but yeah, this paint job is just working better for me. I like the look of this better. Let's take a look around the back, see what we going on there. Like, yeah, look at that. You get so much more of an impression of not just the recessed areas, but the raised areas as well. Here you can see all the orange blobs, just kind of rocks. They blend together. They almost more look like blobs. He looks more like a rock monster just because of that touch. And that can't have been an easy touch. Like there's so many recesses here. There's got a lot. There's a little bit of sloppiness there, but again, he's a rock monster. You can just say that's dirt or grime or whatever. Not really bothering me. Yeah, let's take a look at the articulation. Again, it's the same on both figures because they come with it's the exact same body. So you get him looking down barely, looking up barely. Yeah, little bit of attitude, little bit of side to side. I think it's a little more pronounced on this figure, the attitude, for the Skrull wave. Actually, not really. Like, you get him turning too much and his head's just going to turn around. That's an interesting thing about this head. But yeah, I think the attitude is a little accentuated just because you got these bigger ridges here for the eyebrow and the jaw. So I think that's really what you got. It's the same articulation, but it looks like more on this figure just because of how the head is sculpted. So yeah, again, bigger figure, big chonk as I like to call them. So you're not going to get the same kind of articulation you do with a smaller figure. Looking at that arm, that big beefy arm, it will do the 360 there. It's on a ball joint. It's not going up too much at all. Flip it around, and yeah, you can see where the that line is, that articulation point, and then you can fold him in and get his arms kind of up over his head. He's sporting a single jointed elbow. That's what it looks like straight. That's what it looks like. He's not even really doing 90 when you're curving it. I mean, it is like that's all it is. Smart design here, having these craggy rocks covering up the articulation point of the wrist. I like when they do stuff like that. So his wrist will go backwards and forwards, and it will of course spin, do the 360, and the grasping hand is the same kind of thing. In the chest, we're not getting a lot of articulation. This is on a ball. It's going back. Oh, it's actually going back quite a ways. I stand a little bit corrected, but he's not getting any kind of a crunch there at all. Nothing like that. You can do a crunch on a bigger figure. That would have been bigger figure. That's always a fun phrase to say. But yeah, goes back a lot. You can do a crunch there. They didn't give him one. He does have a waist swivel, which he'll do the 360 there. This chest will also do the 360. It's a bit tight to get around. Ooh, yeah. And he does get some side-to-side action there, though, so that is nice, gotta say. Do like that. The waist swivel's a bit weird. It does do the 360, but take a look. Take a look at what happens. I get him to the side, and you can see the lip of his waist sticking out like the front of the Titanic. And then you can, you see the sides of him sticking out because he is, of course, wider across than he is thicker across that way. So that's something we got going on there. Taking a look at the legs, he's got that going on in the crotch. Can do the splits fair ways for a big figure. Pretty impressed by that. Some smart choices here. You can see the upper thigh cut is part of the shorts. I love that. I love the fact that they're using that design. I love the fact that they've made that choice to hide that articulation point. That's really nice. And does do the 360 as I showed. His leg will kick forward that much, which is quite a bit, and will also go out to the side some, as we've seen before. Kicking back. Not a heck of a lot, though, but he does get that out to the side action. So there's that. The knee is a double joint, but you can see right there where it's connecting. But the thing is, it's so big and bulky, you're not getting a lot of articulation out of that. It does pretty much 90, but he's not going to kick himself in the butt or anything like that. So if you wanted to do that with your thing, you are out of luck. And his toe here will articulate down like so, and he does get a wee bit of ankle pivot. The toes are nice. I didn't really talk about that before, but he's got nice big craggy toes on each of his feet. Yeah, it's a very nice sculpt overall. But yeah, the thing I like better about the Walgreens figure is that you can see that sculpt. It really reads because it's because of how they have painted those recesses. So, my verdict for these figures is I like them both. I do like them both. I am glad I have both of them in my collection. But basically, reason why I have both of them is I didn't think I would get this guy because he does one thing that I really don't like that this one doesn't do. He's an exclusive, and he's an exclusive to a store, retailer that does not exist in my country. There's no Walgreens in Canada. So I only got him because I was at a convention and somebody had the whole set there, and I managed to get there trying to sell him as a set, but I didn't want the rest of the Fantastic Four. I just wanted my thing, so I was able to get him for a good price there. But yeah, originally I saw him at a convention and he had a pick me up and buy me thing where it's just like, yeah, I like that and I'm probably never going to get this one. So I picked him up and I'm glad I did. I do like both of these figures. Again, there's things about this one that I do like better. I do like this sculpt a little bit better. The head looks better. It looks more proportionate to his body. The bigger ridge and things like that, the actual sculpt of it. Of course, you get the color of the trunks and the belt, and I like the idea of painting these raised areas. I do think that works, but I don't think they went all the way with the paint. I think on this figure, they went all the way with the paint, because even without those areas being raised, the painting of the recesses just makes the entire figure look more rocky, more craggy. It makes him pop more. He's just a better looking figure. He's got that thing when you see him on your shelf, you just go, ah, that's my thing. That's my thing over there. So I really like that. And of course, the accessory war, it's no competition. I got extra hands and an extra head with this guy. I get nothing with this guy, just Build-A-Figure pieces, and I ain't about the Build-A-Figures. So yeah, if I had to just keep one in my collection, I think I will keep both at this point because I do like both these figures. But if I had to just keep one, it would be easy. It would be that one. But because nobody's got a gun to my head, I'm going to keep both because they are both good figures. So again, this guy's not available in your region, or he's harder to come by, or you're seeing him, but the prices are exorbitant. Yeah, get this guy. He is a good thing. You want just a thing in your collection. You're maybe not going for a wave, but you want a thing. You know, get him. He's a good thing. Like both these figures, had to pick one would be this one, but this one will do you in a pinch. Thank you so much for joining me for this review. If you like what you see, if you like what I do, remember to click the like and subscribe buttons, and you can see when my next video is coming out. But until next time, stay nerdy, be absurd, and remember to be kind to each other, everybody. See you next time.
Look at that thing, but look at that thing, but look at that, look at that, look at that thing, but